Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another podcast on an embodied connection. This is Sanaz Shiraz. I'm an embodiment coach for dating and relationship for strong and independent women and a course leader for therapeutic dances. Today, I'm honored to have a guest connecting from Singapore, Faith Theo. Welcome, Faith.
Hi, thank you and welcome. Okay, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm feeling so honored and privileged to be here.
Really lovely to have you here from Singapore. And Faith is helping people and educating them how to use essential oils for different aspects of health and well-being, physical well-being, but also emotional well-being. I found this topic extremely interesting and exciting for body. I'm very curious to hear more from her, but she's also a coach for entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, when they feel overwhelmed and unbalanced and they don't know how to balance their work and their life and their families. That is amazing to have you here, Faith. So, what is your story? How did you end up in this very exciting topic, especially like first maybe about essential oils and yeah, it was like what was the role of the body in the whole journey?
Okay, so my story begins when I actually, because, okay, so I have two young children with my husband. So my story begins when I make a switch from being a career woman, in an international bank to being an entrepreneur so I can be home for my children as well. Now, the thing that was very interesting was that I did all the hustle, in the first few years of my career. And that's actually my business in essential oils. And I did get the success that I wanted. I am a six-figure income earner. But however, it also came at a high price because I realized that growing up in today's society also means that maybe for many of us, we or maybe even I, look at success in a certain way. Like the way to get to success is going to be about, you work hard, you sacrifice, you basically do the long hours, you sweat your blood and tears and everything just to get to the level that you wanted. So unsurprisingly, I burned out soon after. And what was very interesting in my 10 years in this business was that it wasn't just one burnout, it was quite a few. And the biggest one for me was actually when about, let me see, some years ago, I think that was about 6 years ago, when my son was still a baby, I actually burned out. I had high fever for 2 weeks. And in the end, they found that I have a huge abscess on my back. And I actually needed to have it surgically removed. So the doctors were like, okay, we don't know what's causing the huge infection on your back, and then we're gonna have to like wheel you into the operating theater, cut you open and see what's inside. And it's infected. I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to cut out the whole chunk of flesh for you. I think what was really amazing about that story, although it sounds really like when I tell to other people, they tend to have a mouth open kind of expression, like they're so shocked about it, was that at that time I didn't realize that I was burnt out. I didn't realize that my body was screaming for help. So so when you're telling me about like your woman is about, you're serving women about embodiment, and I just feel that this story would, I hope, would serve your audience too, because I think at that time, although I did have the material success, I realized that I was so disconnected and so disembodied, that I couldn't even realize that I needed to pause, take a break, slow down. And I just thought that, okay, that's what it is. It's a high fever, something happened, and therefore this surgery happened. It is true that at that time I did feel like, okay, um, I probably worked too long hours. I needed to cut back. But I think that lesson didn't quite sink in until like about 3 years ago, where I burned out one more time. Okay. And I think the interesting thing about telling a story about this embodiment is also, I feel that for us, is also to recognize when we are disconnected from our body. And I understand that when I went through that burnout 3 years ago, it didn't show as another surgery in the hospital, but it was actually, feeling that very large heaviness in my chest, feeling low energy, fatigue. I guess you can also say that I could have a low grade functioning kind of depression going on as well. I was super like numb out from everything. I just want to hide in my house. I didn't want to come out. So that was how I was feeling. So that's another sign of this embodiment right there. So I think after that, the past couple of years has been years of healing for me. And last year has been a year of reset, actually. So this year has been for me putting into place practices that I have taken on and have learned to incorporate for my own journey and for my own business as to how can I still, you know, practice embodiment, being connected to my body, being connected to my heart and my soul, while at the same time having not just material success, but also to have success in all areas of my life. Because if I only have success in the business, but I'm sacrificing my marriage, my time, my relationships with my loved ones, right? That's not really success in the truest sense of the word. Yeah.
Wow, Faith, thank you so much for your openness and sharing that so vulnerably. Thank you. So, what I also loved about your story, despite that I really felt also the pain, that's like it's not an easy time at all, like having an operation, having a little kid. I can imagine what a stressful time it was for you. It's as what I loved about you that you just also kind of very reflected in a very transformative way. So like because I think like this first impression sometimes is when we are in that those times of our life that we doubt ourselves, the world, like is why me? What is this? Like that's the first triggering time, and some of us stays in that as well and becoming bitter or closing or that is like some of my clients are saying regarding relationship dating, many of the stories, bad experience and then the arming up or just getting back or getting numb even more. So I love that you came to the conclusion, okay, I need more connection to my body and to my heart. Love, totally love that. What's how is for you? We see you're also you are already very right now connected. So and especially even you made it your that's as yet a part business of yours. How did you come to essential oils and what are they? What is the roles? I just know a few things, but I'm sure like also my audience don't know much about that, even when we hear, and it sounds very exciting. So why essential oils? How did you ended up there and what can they do?
Okay. So for me, okay, I think maybe for many people out there, right, they might think that, okay, essential oils, sure, you could have it, like burning away with a tea light candle to have it smell nice in the room. You could also have it for a massage, so you can be more relaxed, or it maybe works on like the stiff, achy muscles that we have in our body as well. But I'm also here to say that when you get really, really good quality essential oils that, I mean, we used to call it therapeutic grade, but I think for me, I just want to kind of like make it very direct to the layman out there or the laywoman out there. So I actually say as medical grade is that when you can get oils as good as that, right, you actually unlock far more than just a nice massage or a nice smell in the room. You can do things like you can actually do things like emotional release. You can also use essential oils to ground yourself, to anchor yourself back to your body as well. For the times where we or I, feel like fearful or like currently with COVID and everything, right? I'm sure for many of us, there have been times when we felt panicky, we felt worried, scared, what's going to happen and so on and so forth. We also have essential oils that helps to create that environment of safety and to also remind us that that we have so much potential and power in us, that even with this pandemic going on, it doesn't control our lives. We control our life. We shape our lives actually. So these are some of the things that very, very good great essential oils can do for us. So that's more the emotional aspect. So in terms of educating people on using oils for emotion, I also teach people how to release their emotions as well with a combination of acupressure and essential oils. So it's just touching like even points of the face or on the body with the essential oils too. And the reason why we do both together is also because if you have heard of this term called the blood-brain barrier, so basically our body is designed such that the barrier between the brain and the rest of our body, it is meant to protect our brain from any kind of toxins that we could be exposed to. However, the one thing that something can pass through is actually essential oils. Because the molecules of the oils are so tiny, it passes right through to the barrier. And have you ever heard of, say, like, you walk past a store and you smell the scent of freshly baked bread? Or maybe like you cross the field and then you smell, freshly cut grass. And there are times where when we smell specific smells, it also triggers certain memories for us. It can be memories that we are very fond of. It can even be memories that are very triggering as well. So scent aroma is actually one of the tools that we can use to tap into and access our subconscious and unconscious brain. Like in the brand that I actually represent, we have this blend called transformation. So I have people who ask me questions like, "But what does the oil do? Can you tell me exactly if I apply on my body or when I diffuse it? What will happen? Like tell me, how does it help me to change myself or shift my behavior or whatsoever?" And I tell them that, look, I can tell you about the blood-brain barrier and the key and how aroma plays a part in our psyche, but you've got to try it to understand how it works actually, or even not even understand, but to experience how it works, because it does. I have friends who are like in high stress careers, like lawyers and so on and so forth, and they get so easily triggered and angry in their workplace. But diffusing oils like that helps them to, it's not just calm down, it was actually creating that pause in their mind when they have another situation that comes up in work that could trigger them. So like I did sharing from this friend who said that, yeah, I used to get really angry when this thing happened, but then right now, suddenly I'm like, wait a minute, why am I angry? What's the cause here? What can I do to remediate that? So that's one of the more powerful stories I've heard about, oils like that. And if we think about, I know that in my experience of the oils, right, I've also realized that with such high grade essential oils that I actually dislike, okay? So it's the kind that when I smell it, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot take the smell. It makes me feel all kinds of Um, it's also because I realized that as I work through my stuff, like coming back to being connected to my body, coming back to being connected to my emotions, that aversion to those original oils also go up as well. So in that sense, it has also created a very tactile and sensory evidence that this is a block in you that you might want to consider taking a look at. Yeah.
Wow, I'm just so inspired. Like for me, when you talk, is like this new planet, new possibilities, which is very, very new to me, but as totally makes sense as well. Like because I can imagine, like I talk sometimes about like, really like parts of what happens in body getting reactivated, and just like exactly as you described, like this amygdala part of the brain, which is like really is a radar for where is the unsafe, where is the just danger. And because we have like this smell sense common also with animals, I can totally see why that actually is working. And it's amazing, Faith, because like my access to my body is like movement, And I grew up in a huge mega city with a lot of smoke. So I numbed actually this part, or sometimes it's kind of numb. So I feel like it doesn't really work. I only know when it's, as you also described, one of those taking bath. And then I realized, oh my God, that's so good. That just does so good. And I love the fact that you know about all nuances and you can choose and apply. And as I say, that at least is the effect that we get more connected to our body and just to present moment, getting in there. That's really wonderful. That's just beautiful what you describe. So do you have a tip for, maybe similar people like me, which actually don't have much connection? By the way, we have like perfume, but I realize the perfume is more, like what the perfume industry does is like how to do have an effect on the other people, right? But I so love that you apply this just for, so for environment, for myself. That's just that's amazing attitude, like intention creation. So do you have a tip for people who just really are strangers to this sense, to this world, so where they can start to, to start to just get to know it a little, the experience, as you said, with their body?
So it's like, okay, it's very interesting because like essential oil also has sisters in the same realm as well. So what I've noticed is that for people who love essential oils, they're also naturally gravitating towards things like yoga, movement, okay. What's the other one? Crystals also. So like with all this, right, I've also tell people that if you are keen to start your journey with essential oils, let your curiosity and your intuition guide you, because it will guide you to places that your body needs you to know and wants to tell you a story about as well. I have this very interesting story where I was actually teaching this class about acupressure points with essential oils and releasing emotions. And someone told me that, oh, it's very interesting because for some reason, she was saying that for some reason, I have this thinking that I needed to get the sage essential oils for the past 3 nights. And one of the things that she also told me is that when she applied essential oils on her tummy at her belly button, and she touched there, right, to release the emotions of stress over there, she also felt sore there. And I love the story because when we do things like that, firstly, we are taking care of ourselves. Secondly, we're slowing down and we're really getting back into our body. It's like, oh, you touch here. Oh, that feels so stiff. You touch it. Oh, there's some kind of pain over here, isn't there? So that is also a practice back into embodiment, back into, the mind and the body shouldn't be like separate. We operate holistically as one, actually, right? So yeah.
Wow, thank you. So I understood that your recommendation is just really be open and experimenting, right? Is that so? And see what's
Yeah,
who is that
yeah,
me, and just be curious and
yes. Have
apply
fun
it.
with it. Play with it. Yeah. I mean,
Playing.
I have,
Love
yeah,
it.
play with it. I have like oils out there, and sometimes in the class, I'll say, look, these are my bag of oils or my scale oils. And I'm like, just try every single oil. Just let your fingers run through the bottles. You will find that the ones that you gravitate to, even by just touching it or even smelling it, go, I really like that, it shows something about you already. It tells you something about yourself as well. Because it was also very interesting because to me, right, I've also found that children are super intuitive and they always mirror the environment. So I've heard this story where this couple, they were actually going through a rough patch in their marriage, okay, and they're oilers too. So when they asked their son to pick oils to oil himself, right, he always picked one oil, and that oil is joy. you know. And that's amazing thing, because children, especially very young ones, like babies, like those that haven't started to learn how to read the words on the bottle itself, so they cannot tell that, oh, this is this is a peppermint, for example. They can't tell, right? And they go like, oh, this oil, or they tap it and say, okay, mommy or daddy, put this oil on me. And that's how wise our senses, our intuition, our body can be. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know what I'm going to do with 3 years old son as well. That will be fun. That's an amazing. Faith, I'm sure not only me, but a lot of people who are watching this, they would love to learn more about all teaching you do, and also your offers, your work. Can you tell us a bit more what you offer and how the people can find you?
Okay, so basically you can find me at Instagram. So my IG handle is Faith in Flow. That's FAITHINFLOW. You can
By
also
the
find
way,
me on Facebook as well.
sorry, I will write definitely this
Mm,
information also under the video, so that's just that
okay.
people can definitely find you.
Okay, can. You can also find me on Facebook as well, Faith Hill. But I actually also run a very large Facebook group. It's, I think, close to 16,000 people right now. So my Facebook group is Let's Add Oil. It's a strange name, but it works. Okay, where I have actually taught and give tips about using essential oils and teach about holistic health through essential oils. For like, I think for them, Facebook was pretty old, like about 10 years already. Yeah. Mm.
Oh wow, so that's I know how it is like being consistently also talking, but also thank you so much for your contribution. 10 years of teaching on this topic. Wow, so I'm very moved by your intention, by your contribution. So so what the people can, do you have some offers for people also, like for other part of your business, which also very very interesting for many women, either they are parents and employed, or they are business owners and have parents and are like their life work balance. uh what are your products or like services you offer them?
Okay, so for me, under my two businesses, one on essential oils and one on coaching, I offer quite a few. So essential oils, right? I do essential oils consultation because I do have people who comes to me, and I mean, like these are people that I don't know personally. They come to me and ask questions like, okay, I have this problem. Usually it's a physical problem. Sometimes it's a life problem, and they go like, okay, what can I do about it? Do you think essential oils will help? Because under the brand that I represent, Young Living, we also have essential oils infused supplements as well. So basically, I do consultations like that, and it can be through DMs, private messages. It can be a phone call. That works. Yeah. I also have companies that comes to me and ask me to conduct essential oils workshop and classes as well. So that's on the oil side. At the same time, because I found essential oils to be such a powerful modality, I do incorporate part of that into my coaching business. So in coaching, I run programs for actually for women entrepreneurs, or even female career women who feels like they are stuck. It can be stuck in terms of like getting to the success that you wanted, or feeling like, oh, how come in the past I do this way, it was successful, but now it's not. Yeah, so that's another thing I help as well. Also, I'm certified, in neuro-linguistic programming, in NLP, and in Enneagram too. So I found those to be very good tools to support people to, have that level of awareness about themselves, and to also unpack certain beliefs they have that created their results. I think one of the things that many people might not have realized is that we are told so often that if you want to get something, you've got to work hard, you've got to be consistent, right? But no one's talking about, well, how do you feel during your journey in getting there? Do you feel excited? Do you find that it's fun? Or do you feel that it's okay, it doesn't matter how my journey is like, as long I get to my result? But when we have a belief like that, it creates an unsustainable journey for ourselves. And that's also the reason why I notice, for entrepreneurs, right, they might soon give up or felt that there's no point going on because the journey was never enjoyable for them. So through the coaching side, I do have a program where it's like, pleasure for business. We are actually in the midst of I'm in the midst of launching my personal website, faithtale.co. Now it's kind of like in the final stages of getting the content on everything. But yeah, that's something that I'm pretty passionate about because I used to think that way. And I'm thinking now that there's so many other fun and pleasurable ways to get to where we want to go. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's very juicy. Pleasure and business. Those two, like where everybody is like, really?
Yeah.
Organic, really? Going hand in hand. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And also what you said about the stock was very interesting because it's actually something I would love. So this year, I want to concentrate on moving with and out of stock, feeling stock. So, and what you just telling, but giving us a lot of idea, maybe we can combine also the essential oils and movement in that. So I'm totally looking forward to more collaboration with you and having you also here, maybe for another interview later. Thank you so much, Faith, for this wonderful information, this wonderful sharing. And yeah, so we're looking forward to hear a lot more about your success in around business and pleasure.
Okay. Thank you for having me here. Yeah, it's been such a fun time talking to you about my journey and what I've learned and sharing with the other like-minded people out there. Thank you.
I was honored.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you.